Of anti-ICE protests breaking out in Los Angeles and other major cities, including the one we're in.
Massive crowds seen fighting back against law enforcement in cities like L.A., Seattle, New York, Las Vegas, just to name a few.
Jonathan Hunt is live in L.A. with the very latest this morning. Jonathan.
Ainsley, Lawrence, Brian, good morning to you all. We are still 2 hours away from a second night of curfew ending here in L.A. And clearly...
Why do they need a curfew? I thought everything was peaceful. Okay, moving on.
These protests have been picking up right across the country now. They may have started here, but looking west to east, we saw protests last night in Seattle, in Las Vegas, in San Antonio, Texas, and of course in New York City. If there is any good news to all of that, it's that law enforcement in all of those cities appeared to have a good handle on the protests, none of which really got out of hand in the way that we have seen some of the protests here in LA.
So what he just said is that Gavin Newsom and the LA mayor, absolutely useless, don't know what they're doing, and they need to lose their jobs. That's just pretty much what he said. Because even these other Democratic cities can hold back these people and keep them to a minimum better. Just saying.
As for LA itself, the main focus last night of the protesters appeared to be City Hall. The LA Sheriff's Department, obviously, the sheriff himself headquartered there, and the LA Sheriff's Department led the effort to push the protesters away from City Hall through the evening. Police on horseback also came in with their nightsticks drawn. Those tactics appeared to be effective too.
The classic nightstick. Simple but effective. Fuck around and find out.
In driving what was a much smaller crowd than we've seen on previous days away. And then by the time we got to 8 p.m. local time last night, as you can see from these aerial shots, the crowds had thinned out remarkably. That's the 8, of course, was the start of the curfew. The last few remaining stragglers were pushed out by law enforcement, and ultimately it was a relatively quiet night. Meantime, officials here warn once again that they will track down anyone involved in any acts of violence against law enforcement officers or indeed against property here in LA. Here's the LA County DA, Nathan Hochman.
Let me provide some bad news for you. There's a tremendous amount of video out there through social media and otherwise. We will know who you are, who engaged in this conduct. We will track you down. We will arrest you. We will prosecute you, and we will punish you. So, for people who've already engaged in this illegal activity, we're coming for you.
I don't know about that. They haven't really proven it that much in the past, but I hope he does keep his word on that, because the law enforcement definitely deserve better treatment than that. And it's just sad that in that county and in that city, they can't do their job. That, like, you know, if you're like a Midwest town or something like that, or even in Florida, like, law enforcement have full support from their state elected officials and their governors. So it's just pretty sad.
Now, up in San Francisco today, in a courtroom up there, Governor Gavin Newsom will be presenting his case, asking that the National Guard troops federalized by President Trump be put back under his command. The DOJ has described that action by Governor Newsom, that legal action, as, quote, a crass political stunt endangering American lives. But
the thing with that is he wasn't going to use them anyways, so why would he want control back? Other than the fact that he's being a whiny little boy. And he's like, oh, Trump's doing this. Trump derangement syndrome is freaking destroying this man's brain. Like, look at his hair visibly aging. It's quite sad, honestly.
That side of this drama will play out in a courtroom in San Francisco this afternoon. Lawrence, Ainsley, Brian, back to you.
All right, thanks so much, Jonathan. So he goes from curfew to curfew. I mean, the sun went down. That's when people are supposed to go home. As soon as you're out past the curfew, you're in danger of being detained.
This argument that Gavin Newsom is making that he wants it to be back in his command, I think it's just juvenile. You didn't show up when the people need.
I don't think you could have said it any better, honestly. Yes, juvenile is a very good way of putting it, because it's, oh, I don't get my way, I'm gonna cry about it. That's pretty much all it is.
Needed you, and there's crisis after crisis to show for it. I mean, we got the big wall right here. Where was he during COVID? He was at the French Laundry having a good time. Meanwhile, he closed all the.
All right, hold on. Fox News brought the receipts. Yeah, look at that. Closing schools, impacting 6+ million. Oh yeah, he's the guy that's all for the homeless. Like, oh, we need to stop the homeless cause. Like, we need to fix it. Yet, he's been governor for how long, and it only gets worse. And they put so much funding into this homeless crisis. It's absolutely ridiculous that it's even allowed. It's honestly embarrassing. But, you know, he gives free health care and all these free welfare benefits to these illegal migrants, and it's just absolutely disgusting when we have people that have already been here that need the assistance to get back on their feet, and he just doesn't care. And there's a housing crisis and doesn't care. Just, you know what, free the illegals.
The schools for K through 12. It impacted 6 million of our kids. The homeless crisis, they lead the nation in the homeless population, yet they also give the homeless population the most funding, and they still have the most there.
Literally, that's what I just said. It's kind of sad.
You got the wildfire response, bad leadership, blamed the poor water management, delays on misplaced priorities. Then the state budget, we just gave them $7 billion for that high-speed rail. Well, they've never even laid a foot of track.
And it doesn't go.
That should be investigated in itself of some kind of fraud, because that's just absolutely ridiculous. Like, where's that money going? Like, what? Where's the money going? And I'm pretty sure that track wasn't even going to go to its intended destination anyways. It's supposed to go from LA to San Francisco. Instead, it's going LA to some town that's like 25 miles away from San Francisco. It's like, what?
So,
San Francisco to it doesn't.
you can't even handle this stuff.
You're a fool blaming Trump. What are you doing for this destruction of these animals destroying Los Angeles? Are you there talking calmly with them, you fool? They would burn you down like they're burning the cars and the American flag with no regard for humanity. This is not about Trump. This is about protecting the people from these animals and criminals trying to destroy us. And our police force, are they supposed to stand there, let rocks hit them and kill them? Who's going to save them? You? You're a...
If anyone says Gavin Newsom should run for president, is absolutely ridiculous, because he just destroyed his whole argument of being president. It's just sitting here talking, and he sounds more presidential than him. He sounds more coherent and more common sense. It's just sad. Just think about that for a second.
disgrace. You're nothing but a lying dog for the hopes of becoming the president one day.
Oh, sheesh, snap. Boy be spitting facts.
This Glendale Community College professor sent out an email encouraging all the students to riot too. Kim Kardashian put on Instagram, when we're told that ICE exists to keep our country safe and remove criminals, great. But when we witness innocent, hardworking people being ripped from their families, we have to speak up. And then Trish McLaughlin answers, Kim Kardashian, which one of these convicted child molesters, murderers, drug traffickers, and rapists would you like to stay in the country?
Exactly.
There are just a few of the convicted illegals who have been picked up in the last 72 hours.
ICE highlighted some of these criminals: homicide, burglary, drug activity, battery, lewd acts with children, assault, money laundering, human smuggling, burglary. Then there's this illegal migrant.
You know why all these celebrities actually do support having the illegals here is because most of them, they abuse the fact that they quote unquote are cheap labor. And this goes back to the whole argument that it would solve it to begin with, is if these people that hire them and these corporations that hire these illegal immigrants would get punished through the full extent of the law, because then they would stop doing it. Because they'd be like, wait, I'm going to get in trouble for this. Let's stop doing it, because their same argument is what they did for slavery, by the way. They're like, well, who's going to pick the crops? Well, it went from free to cheap. And just think about that.
He had already been deported once. He was arrested twice last year for a DUI and for theft. He was on the loose because of the sanctuary city laws in California. He was ignored by the cops because the laws protect the criminals in California.
So 2 things on this. Kim K, I know you don't know this because you didn't go to a real law school, but what about the American families that had their daughters ripped away from their families?
Yeah.
Every single month that we were reporting of an illegal killing some American citizen. And number 2, so if we're going to allow this to happen when illegal criminals, when the ICE officers show up with a warrant for their arrest, do Americans now not have to abide by warrants when the cops show up?
Right.
Can they barricade them? Can their families create a barricade outside? Should there be protests when they don't want to go to jail, when a warrant is shown up? It's a dangerous precedent to set, to say that you don't have to comply with court orders.
In terms of the idiot parade, how about adding Katy Perry to it? She writes on Instagram, this was once Mexican land, and the people being targeted today are often descendants of those who lived here for future generations. Do we really want to go back to the Incas and find out who was?
This is a terrible argument. If anything, it's more Spanish and Native Americans than anything, because even after they won their independence from Spain, they only held the territory for like 16 years. That's it. 16 years. And then the United States won the war with them, and we bought it. Simple. 15 mil. Easy. Welcome to America.
Here, would you like to give up parts of Texas? Do you want to give up part of California?
giving up part
I
of
mean, what
Texas.
is
No
wrong
way.
with you? They're upset that their butlers and their landscapers might have to go back to the country where they're from.
Exactly. I couldn't say it any better. Honestly, it's quite sad.
I was saying this in the first hour, talked to a lady, she's an American citizen now, but she's originally from Brazil. She said, if these riots happen in Brazil and people started waving flags from other countries and burning the Brazilian flag, they would end up in some back alley. We don't stand for that, she said, in Brazil.
It's disgusting.
I'm Steve Ducey.
If you like the content you see here today, please like, comment, and subscribe.